Bing boing bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip.
Good morning, guys. This is Everybody Has a Story to Tell with Toddy One Skip and her bad hair. Guys, how you doing? Yeah, my hair is a little funkadoodly today. Guys, how you doing? So I wanted to talk to you about the Whittakers because apparently Betty has been taken to the hospital, something about her heart. I have not been able to find any information. I'm not a sleuth when it comes to, the internet and going into Reddit and subreddit. I really don't. So anybody that has information that's legitimate that I can check on, that would be great. I'd love to know how Betty's doing. A lot of us, I'm sure, would love to know how Betty's doing because if you don't think that this was traumatic for this woman, and I do. I blame Eric and I blame Patrick for this. I am going to go over a video that Patrick put out probably around midnight, and Patrick is still not speaking badly about Eric, but Eric has blamed everything on Patrick. So we're going to figure out what happened here because I'm determined to figure out who did what and what said who because we've been watching the Whittaker family for a long time. I've been watching them for a long time. I mean, Mark's channel, Soft White Underbelly, my other channel, I have a whole playlist on the Whittakers. I covered the Tyler Oliveira thing with Mark. I covered, so I'm not new to this. I'm not jumping on here just to get views. I actually am familiar with the family. I've never met the family. I've never gone and knocked on their door or assumed that they would welcome me into their life. I'm not like that. I wouldn't do that. However, I have seen videos of people that just pop up at their house to do a stream and get lots of views. I've gone past the Whittakers plenty of times and never went out of my way to go even see from a distance what their house looks like or if I could see somebody in the driveway or anything like that. I've never even thought about doing that because it's none of my business, number one. And number two, that's their property. Why would I just show up? I wouldn't want anybody to just show up on my property. I mean, so, okay? Guys, this family has been taken advantage of time and time again. I don't feel that Mark Leda did that. Mark Leda gave that family over $100,000. Yes, Mark made money off of those videos, but Mark gave that family $100,000. Now, I understand that there was a GoFundMe and then there was the videos. So, yeah, Mark made money off of his views. Okay? Mark also made trips that weren't driving trips, right? Because Mark comes from California. Listen, I had absolutely, and I wouldn't have had absolutely any problem with Eric or Patrick. But the Whittakers got free pizza out of the deal, clothes from Walmart. They got to go to the movies, which, hey, I think all of this stuff is great. They got a lot of things. But do you think it's worth $100,000? Because they didn't even get that. And I guarantee you, these channels with these views are getting a lot of money. And it's unclear to me whether a third of that money was supposed to go to the Whittakers because they were the content. And if a third of the money was supposed to go to the Whittakers, why was it only $3,000? Because I'm on YouTube. Why was Eric so controlling? Why does Eric have everything written down, but yet there's really no proof? There's just a bunch of shit written down. How can Eric go to the zoning board and get permits like that? He doesn't own the property. He's not a builder. I mean, is he a guy that thinks that we're morons? Show us the zoning permits. Don't show us just where the property line is because anybody could get that. Anybody could get that. I used to be a real estate agent. I know that anybody can get that. So, there are people that I think, I don't know, and I don't mean this insulting, but I think he thinks that his audience is stupid. Well, your audience might be stupid, but the rest of us ain't. And it's too bad if that's what you think of your audience, because they deserve more. They deserve more. Eric, Patrick called you up and told you about this family and probably said, hey man, go check them out online. Go check them out online. Go see. Go see. And he probably saw all these views. And, you know, Eric is saying that he left his other channel behind and, you know, just to put everything forward here. Nobody asked you to do that. Nobody asked you to do that. And I'm sorry, I am a content creator. I'm not sorry about that. But I go look on your other channel and the views are no comparison. There's just no comparison. The Whittaker family channel blows your other channel out of the water, as you knew it would. As you knew it would, because you were going to get, and you did get, exclusive video of the Whittakers in their element. And then you took them out so you were able to show them in the wild. From beginning to end. From beginning to end. You didn't do videos like Mark. Mark showed stuff, but he didn't go into great detail. He did it with taste. He did it with class. You did it from the minute you got there, holding a bag of chips more or less. You know, the bag of chips now, I think of the fucking bag of chips because that's what you said you were holding them and saving them for. So every time you can go, you can give them to her. Like a lure for a fish. These, you say that these are people, but you didn't treat them like people. You didn't respect the fact that they have mental diminished minds. No, you wanted Betty to decide right then and there on the phone, right then and there, to have her niece kicked out of her house, her brother's daughter kicked out of the house, or a home, all in a matter of seconds. The average person would say, hey, whoa, you're overstepping a boundary here. But you're talking to somebody who lived on a porch, grew up on a porch, stayed on a porch, never left the porch. She never left West Virginia. I don't know if she ever left West Virginia. And you expect her to be as clever and as smart and as intuitive and as quick as you. And you don't call yourself controlling to hold her to that expectation? Have you seen this family? Did you do any research? People say to me, hey, Toddy, you do any research? I know enough not to do that. I know enough not to do that and not to get pissed at somebody who might change their mind when they have a problem. There is a genetic problem. I don't give a shit what Eric thinks. Eric says, Betty's smarter than everybody. How do you know? Because you think it? Because this is the way it worked out and you need people to blame shit? Is that it? You know, he bashed that family now and has disgraced that family now only to save his name. He talked about how bad that family was to the point of stuff we didn't need to know. We didn't need to know. It was like that when you got there 2 months ago. You had money. Why didn't you have everybody come out? Everybody, come on, let me give you a few days at this Airbnb. Let me give you a few days at this Airbnb. Can we call a cleaning crew in here and just get everything cleaned up? Let's at least get everything cleaned up. What about that? Because with Eric, it was all or nothing. It's this house or it's nothing. There's nothing in the middle. This guy, and I've said it, in such a gray environment, this guy only saw black and white, and he wanted everybody to think the way he did. And when people didn't think the way he did, 3 family members that can't even talk, there's no verbal. One of them actually kind of barks. He had them taken away from the one person that was there for them the whole time. Their sister. Timmy's aunt. No. Eric, he's gone, right? He's gone, in about 13 days, he's going to get a check that you're not going to believe from YouTube. He is. He's not going to give any to Patrick because he's already blamed Patrick for everything. The Airbnb, the effing up of everything. And, he told Patrick's past, which he knew a little bit about, but he spewed it out there. Why did he do that? What did that have to do with anything? Oh, it was to make Eric look good. But there's still people that don't see that. He knew what type of person Patrick was on his first visit. He said that. And then he gave Patrick $4,000. And he said that after knowing that Patrick himself was a crook. Yeah. He went on, talked about how great of a person Patrick was, until he needed somebody as a distraction and somebody to throw under the bus. He was a good guy when he turned you on to the family, right? Now he's all creepy and he's a crook and all this, and this is all his fault. Listen, it's both your faults. It's both your faults. And you have to, nobody's going to buy that it's Betty's fault. Nobody's going to buy that it's Larry's fault. Nobody's going to buy that. Not anybody with any common sense. Look at Betty and look at Larry, and I dare you to blame fault on them. That's an 80-year-old woman that was taking care of everybody and had her own scared stuff. Larry could be scared too. He could be scared too. But maybe what's going on with Betty, with BJ, is an exaggeration. Maybe it's true. Mark never said anything about it. Other people, this is the first we're hearing about BJ being physical to any. We knew that BJ lied. We knew that. But we didn't know BJ was physical with anybody. And if she was, and it wasn't done in front of you, it was none of your business. People know how to call the police if there's a problem. If they didn't want to call the police, that's none of your business. You gave them an ultimatum. You made them and shamed them into basically getting a protected order on a family member. You did that. That was none of your business, Eric. And if you guys remember at the time, he went 2 times and it wasn't given to him. Remember, originally there was nothing physical. It was about stealing shit, remember? Then it became physical, right? Remember that. It was the 3rd time that they finally got that order. Yep. So not only was it none of your business, but let's remember, you wanted to have her kicked out of the house, and it wasn't anything physical at first. And you pursued and pursued like a dog with a bone. And look at what that persistence got you. Are you proud? That's what you did. And remember, you didn't want to build a house for BJ. Your hatred towards BJ was more important to you than your love for Timmy. Because look at how it all ended up. And yeah, that's all on you. That's on you, Eric. Though there was talk about hands-on, we don't know about BEATING. It's not okay to put hands on anybody. But like somebody said in the comments, man, cousins, they fight. They fight. Okay, that's not okay. BEATING is not okay to do on anybody, but we don't know the extreme of any of this. We only know what 2 untruthful people have told us. And here's what else we know. That family is no longer together and probably will not be together. So these bastards, yeah, shame on you. You shouldn't have a clear conscience. You should never try to help anybody because you're not trying to help anybody but yourselves. Guys, there's a couple more videos that I'm going to put out. But I wanted to let you know, and if anybody does know about Betty, can you reach out to me at toddy1skip@gmail.com and just, let me know. I'd like to know. And anybody with any kind of updates you might get before I get them, toddy1skip@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you allowing me to be part of your day and the fact that you're allowing me to share this story with you. There's a lot of content creators out there telling about this story, so thank you for letting me be one of them as well. This is Everybody Has a Story to Tell with Toddy One Skip. That's their story. What's yours?
Bing, boing, bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip.